Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the Post-Star, the official newspaper of the Borough of Belmar, and the Asbury Park Press on November 2nd, 2018, and notice of the meeting was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building.
Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could just remain standing for a few moments, for a moment of silence for our troops and their families, and a good friend of mine, Mrs. Louise Dempsey, who died this past week at the age of 95. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have an oath of office. So, council, do we meet down? And Mayor-elect Walsberg, could you do the honors? I guess. I think Christine has. Okay. Folks, come on up. You brought your own Bible?
Two.
Two. Old and new version? Okay.
Please raise your right hand. I, James McCracken,
I, James McCracken,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
as councilman
with a term expiring
with a term expiring
December 31st, 2019,
December 31st, 2019,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Thing, yes, sign.
We're checking the date.
Jim, do you want to say anything?
Sure. Thank you very much, residents of Belmar, for giving me this opportunity to serve you. I very much appreciate the support and the faith that you put in our team in the most recent election. I will work very hard to listen to you and not let you down. I would like to thank our county clerk, Christine Hamlin, who's been a good friend of mine for many years, to come here and swear me in tonight. I'd like to thank my lovely wife, Lisa, for coming and holding two Bibles for us. One, my stepson, Brady's, and the other one, my grandfather, who I never had an opportunity to meet. And afterwards, for those who would like, we're going somewhere for some refreshments and some appetizers. Anyone is welcome to join us. So thank you again for this opportunity.
Next, we have a resolution to go into executive session. April, could you read that?
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas there is adequate notice to the public of this meeting, and whereas the Borough Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Belmar as follows: the public shall be excluded from discussion and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matter. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is personnel matters, specifically the position of Chief Financial Officer. Minutes will be kept of the closed session. It is anticipated at this time that the above subject matter will be made public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Do we have a motion to approve?
I offer that the resolution be moved for its adoption. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay. Folks, I threaten that we'll be back. Promise we will back, so it shouldn't take too long.
I had this the first time.
Well, no, I don't know. One of my coworkers had a cold blow cold. The other coworker didn't feel well. And I went to the restaurant and she had two bars at the same
Well, it comes to swearing in, we have we're having swearing, so I'm gonna write just for the
We're back to conversations with them.
I was hoping he was going to be here tonight, but so he could explain it to us. But in speaking with him, there's been a couple little issues down the beach. One is, the one issue is he thinks that we should implement a teenage-type beach badge, maybe from like 12 to 15, that would coincide with the amount of money that's for senior badge, only because of the fact that our beach badge employees down there are seeing people pulling up in cars and getting out and going on the beach, telling them that they're 15 years old. And I'm sure that Councilman Brennan can attest to that since he worked down there. So he was suggesting that maybe we take a good look at a teenage-type beach badge. Maybe the amount of the fee would coincide with like the senior badge, so it's not that expensive. But then they at that age, they would have a badge to go on the beach, a senior badge, or, a season badge. So it would help some of our employees down there control that situation. The other thing he talked to me about was we haven't raised season beach badges in a while. And with the cost of everything going on down there and all the expenses going up down there, he would recommend that we would go to the $75 season beach badge. So,
What is it now? 55?
55. So, I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but those are the things that I talked to him about. He said maybe even raising the senior badge up $10, but, I know that's probably a lot to talk about one here, but, so those are the things that he brought up to me. So, maybe we can take a look at that.
What about senior badges? What did he talk to you about?
Well, he just said raise them up like from $15 to $25 for the season, and then have $25 children's badge, which would coincide with the senior badge up to 15, and then raise the season badges up to 75, which we would still be the lowest out of the whole area. But with everything going up down there, salaries going up, equipment for the lifeguards, you know, we've kept it the same for a long time, so.
Councilman Brennan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I can attest to the fact that people will come up. One of the things I really like about the way we run our beach, I really enjoyed it when I was working there, was the fact that when I first started, we were really really strict about trying to police when people were trying to get on in violation without paying their fair share. At one point, management's philosophy changed, and it was more of a welcoming thing. I tell you what, it made working the gate a lot easier, because instead of being grumpy about how old are you and how old are you and what year were you born, it was come on in, come on in, come on in, and then we would basically, if we had any real concerns, we would speak to the specials and say, you think you might want to check on that, for a lot of reasons. I think that going from 55 to 75 is a bit much. I think that's a bit much. I can see going $10. I think if we're gonna, I can understand it, because one of the things we need to be aware of is that we've had 2 bad seasons in a row, at least 2. After 2016, we had like a record year, and then we've had 2 bad seasons in a row. We have another bad season next year, and we're gonna be in trouble. We've been able to get by on surplus to cover everything we have to cover, but you can't count on the weather. You can't bank on the weather. It could be great, it could be not. That being said, I'm hesitant to raise any kind of fees unless we really see a real need. And one thing that I'll say again, I've said it many times, I would be more comfortable raising these fees if I thought part of it was going to increase the pay for staff, in particular lifeguards. I think, we pay pretty well. We're not the highest, but we're right next to it. And
Second.
I think, second, right? So it wouldn't take much to make us the highest paying town around here. And I think that we would really help us in our recruitment. I hadn't heard the idea about the teen badge before. I'd have to think about that. I'm not sure if that's, one of the things I always liked about being down there was I really felt like we were a family-friendly beach. We're not talking about changing the price of the dailies, right? We're gonna keep the daily, he wants to keep the dailies $8.
Yes.
So what we're talking about then is, because we're charging for 12 to basically 15, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, because we're charging for them, they'd have to buy a daily also. And that automatically makes us more expensive. I really like the idea that we're a family-friendly beach, partly because we're affordable. And I'd like to see if we could find a way to stick with that. That's it for me.
Councilwoman Nicolay, Council President.
Yeah, I agree a lot with what Councilman Brennan says. I do like the fact that we're able to say we're the cheapest beach around. If we do increase the season, the adult ones maybe $5, $10, maybe do 5, and then in a couple of years do another 5 or 10. I think having the teen badge, I hear already that the gate attendants have to check for badges, and do you have season, do you have daily, give me the ticket, etc. I think having the teen might cause just a little, even more difficulty, checking people in, how old are you, do you have teens, should you have a daily, etc. And I do like the whole thing of being family friendly. If you have 2 or 3 kids, it gets quite expensive for a day. I think having a season badge of $75 is a lot. I don't know what the number of average days that somebody goes to the beach, but if you go 5 days, you're paying way more than a daily badge. And sometimes it's difficult to get to the beach, you know, even being a resident right here in town. So I would agree to some type of increase, but not large for both senior and the season. But I don't really favor a teenage badge.
Okay. A lot of good points. I know the beach badge, season badge was $50 back in 1970 when I started, $50 in 1970. And I know as a lifeguard, I got paid $2.05 an hour. Now, it's $55 for a season beach badge, and I know the lifeguards are probably starting out maybe close to 10, and people are pushing for a $15 minimum. So prices of the lifeguards and all the are going to go up. So the price of the season badge, I think, is going to go up. I would move it up to $70, you know, increase it by $15. I really think the senior badge is grossly too low at $15 a season. And what's happening there also is the opposite from the other end. You have people that are 59, 60, 61 getting a senior badge. I would raise the season badge, but also raise the age to Medicare, you know, 65. None of this 62 being a senior. I think it's a lot easier to identify a 65-year-old than a 59 or a 60-year-old. And in today's workforce, most people 62 are still working. They can collect the Social Security, but are they really a senior citizen? And the state and the federal government starts that senior Medicare. Teenage badges, I don't like identifying a teenager with a special badge down on the beach so that people know who someone is only 14 or 15 years old. I know the state a couple of years ago tried to get new drivers to be identified with something on their license plate, and that didn't work out because parents didn't want their kids to be driving with a license plate that identified that they're only 17. So I think we should just drop the age from 15 down to maybe 13, grammar school. You know, most 8th graders are 13 years old, so if you're in grammar school, you can get on the beach for free. If you're in high school, you have to come up with a badge. But just to relieve you, these prices, if they go up, won't go up before Christmas. And I think the season badges go on sale early December.
December 3rd.
So they probably will go up, but you can get them at the 2018 price before Christmas. Okay. Next on the workshop are the 2019 marina rates. We have them in front of us. I know after the storm, occupancy was down. It's been growing. We still have unoccupied slips. There's a lot of discussion as to why. A lot of people blame Marina Grill because of parking and whatnot, but you know, we've been improving our occupancy level down there. And I don't know, Mark, are you still on the Harbor Commission?
Yes.
What did the Harbor Commission meeting recommend? Have you?
Well, the last meeting that we had that rates were talked about, they said that we have a waiting list for the jet skis and a big waiting list for the kayaks. So they suggested that we go up on those. And they were talking about, for Belmar residents, $750 on the jet ski and non-residents $1,000, so that would move them up. And then on the kayaks would be, Belmar residents is $225 and non-residents would be $250. That's what they would like to see.
Just because there's a wait list, why increase? Because I know that our rates are very comparable, if not higher, for jet skis and kayaks than other marinas. So we're going to be losing.
I don't have that information in front of me, but our chairman did a survey on all the jet ski slips and kayak slips in all the different marinas, and we were low. So that's why they said to go for those prices.
Does he have that available?
I'm sure he still does. I didn't bring it with me tonight, but he did an evaluation on all the marinas that are there. And those are the two areas, he thinks everything else should stay the same, but it was those two areas that we think that, you know, the committee thought they should be increased. Then they don't have to go up that high, we can step them up, you know, just a little bit on each one. If, you know, the council would rather do that, and instead of going up 250 on them, we can do 150 or whatever. But, you know, I'm bringing it up as the Harbor Commission recommended, so it will be up to the council to decide.
What were their recommendations for the kayak racks?
225 for Belmar residents and 250 for non-residents.
Yeah.
Better get my vote back.
From what I heard from people who have kayaks and jet skis down there, that we were definitely on par with others, if not more. So if we can see some of those reports, that'd be really great. That'd be helpful.
Okay.
If I could just add that, Diane and Marina was hoping that you would agree on rates tonight, so we could adopt the resolution, so they can get leases out for 2019.
But they're recommending that we keep the rates for the slips flat, correct?
Right.
Okay, I mean, because that's where the real money is. I mean, the marina brought in over $1 million this year, and that's a lot of money. So, I mean, we don't want to get greedy and raise it and find ourselves occupancy hurting us coming back because people can't afford the boat slip.
I'd like to see that information first.
So, I mean, if you want, you have a copy of last year's resolution in front of you.
Yeah,
I could-
That's what this is, yeah.
We could take out the jet skis and the kayaks and approve all the other fees, so
That was
they
my
can get
question. Can we do
started.
that?
Yeah.
And then we could
Greg, can we
discuss.
do that?
Just a motion to amend the advertised
resolution.
Okay.
It hasn't been advertised.
Oh, it hasn't?
No, it's not on the agenda. We'll
Then you
have
can
to
just, yeah, you can
add it
change
to
it
the
that way.
agenda.
Okay. So we, say this again, so we can,
We'll just have a motion to add it, when we get to the resolutions, we'll do a motion to add this resolution onto the agenda, and then a motion to vote on it.
But
okay.
we have to change it first to take out the kayak racks and the jet ski racks.
I'm gonna do that right now.
Okay?
You are the best.
There we go.
Okay, anybody else have anything else for a workshop?
That's what we're charging now. This is a lot.
Okay, petitions, anybody out there in the audience have a petition? If you do, step forward, come up to the microphone, hand them to April, and seeing none, we will move to approval of last meeting's minutes.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on November the 7th, 2018 be approved as recorded, and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Or
Abstaining.
abstain?
Okay, now we move to reports of council. Councilman McCracken, do you have any reports?
No other report than
What have you been doing for the last 20 minutes?
You know, when you find out late afternoon you're getting sworn in at night, you don't have a
I bet you
whole
were
lot of time.
swearing. Okay, so, very good answer. Councilman Walsberg?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, which is in a couple days. Secondly, I just want to congratulate Robin Kirk. She's put a lot of time into our borough. She's been here a very long time. I want to wish her all the best in her retirement coming up on December 1st. She's worked very hard. I worked with her for 25 years, all the time that I was here, and she's going to be very hard to be replaced. So I just want to congratulate her on her retirement and wish her all the best. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Is that Councilman Brennan down there without the,
Gonna make me lead with that, huh?
you know, there was a Seinfeld episode about that. I'll go into that later.
All right, so I have to, my hairy appearance is I'm taking part in a No Shave November cancer fundraiser. I'm doing it on Facebook. I can't wait to be able to shave my head again. This is the longest my hair has been in 23 years. I really can't stand it, but that's fine. We've raised over $800. If anybody would like to contribute, so talk to me after the meeting and tell you how.
This is it. Oh my God, I feel old. Okay, I had a couple of other things. The Environmental Commission, double check this, is still working on revising the Environmental Resource Inventory, the ERI. They're moving right along with that. They're definitely doing it themselves, so they don't have to pay a consultant. And their target is to have it done by the end of the year, which is actually, considering how long it's been since any work was done on it, I think that's really a very good target. I think they're doing great work on it. The other thing I want to let people know is that I said in a meeting, I was part of a meeting with the DEP and the Fish and Wildlife Service, which is a federal agency, talking about our beach management plan. Belmar is a rather unique situation. Most of you probably were aware. We keep a natural beach area up by the First Avenue, by where the inlet goes out. And part of what's there is a nesting area for an endangered species of bird called the piping plover. As soon as an endangered species is discovered, identified in a specific area, all these regulations kick in, and you cannot avoid dealing with them. You have to, because there are horror stories about beach rakes running over a nest and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in fines. You cannot fool around with this stuff. So most of the management is really done by the DEP and the Fish and Wildlife Service. The line that goes around the area that's put up, that's the state putting that up every year. We would have to make sure that we maintain those areas, whether we have a beach management plan or not. Part of it is, a lot of it is coordinating with Public Works so that the areas that can't be raked are not raked. And they've been very, very good about that. The state was very, very complimentary for our Public Works Department about how much care they take. They were concerned, their one area of concern as far as where the birds are, is that the lifeguards will take the four-wheel drive vehicles underneath the fishing club pier and drive up further north on the beach, and that's bad for the birds, and we gotta make sure the lifeguards don't do that anymore. I mean, the only reason for them to go up there would be to do a rescue, and as far as I know, there haven't been any rescues in that area, so they're just driving up there to see what it's like, and they can't do that. So we have to address that. The big issue that they had to get our approval for is, despite all that, the much bigger threat than the lifeguards is predators, cats and foxes, and they need our permission to be able to come in and eliminate that problem. Cats are a little easier, you can catch them and take them to the Humane Society. Foxes, it's a different story, but they would be taking care of that if we give them the approval. We might end up having to do it because there's an endangered species involved and we're responsible, but that has yet to be determined. And now there's a plan. Those of you who walk along the boardwalk might have seen it. It's between 3rd and 4th Avenue right now. It's called the Sea Amaranth. It's marked off now. The state came in and marked it off. This little string, a little orange tape, and you kind of can't miss it. Except you really have to look for it. You can see the tape way easier than you can see the plant. It's right down at the base of the snow fence, and it's these tiny little green leaves, and it's an endangered species, and as soon as it's spotted, we are responsible for following all federal and state regulations as far as endangered species of plants. And again, you can't mess around with it, so we just have to make sure that we keep it marked off and that nobody messes with it, and if it spreads, and we have to deal with it. Part of what the state is looking for in this beach management plan is they want to do plant strips along the boardwalk where more sea amaranth would be able to grow. The idea would be this area is not disturbed, it's never raked, people aren't allowed to walk on it, and the idea would be that the vegetation would grow naturally, basically on its own. I can tell you, and those of you who know how hard we've been working on doing our planting to encourage our dunes to grow with the the native vegetation, the mid-Atlantic coastal vegetation that we've got. And there's another planting going in the next couple of weeks up between 4th and 5th Avenue. You know, we've done a lot of work with that, and so far the results down at the 12th Avenue playground have been very, very good. Particularly with the storm the other day, that was one of the few places where the sand didn't blow right across the street because the plants caught most of the sand. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. The state would basically want us to not do that in favor of letting whatever grows grow. And I can tell you, if that's the case, then I don't think we should approve any kind of plan with them. The stuff with the endangered species, we're obligated to do by law, and we'll do it whether we have a beach management plan or not. And we're supposed to have a plan. There's plenty of other beach towns that don't have it, and it doesn't really affect them. So if it comes up, and we actually get a beach management plan in front of us to approve, and it contains what I just described, I would have to vote no. So everybody should just be aware of that if it comes up. I just wanted to share that the meeting was very positive. Otherwise, the state in particular was really, again, complimentary to the way Belmar has handled these endangered species, the way DPW has been willing to work with them and really been very cooperative, and I was really glad to hear that. I think we got a great DPW, and I think they do a great job for our town. Other than that, I'm looking at my iPad to double check my notes. When I look at my iPad, I'm checking all the resolutions and all the notes. Believe me, I'm not reading my email. Okay, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, that's it for me.
I hope the fox don't chase one of the birds and trample the sea amaranth.
Oh my goodness,
Doing so.
that would be a nightmare.
Councilman Nicolai.
To touch on the Belmar Arts Center, I want to thank everybody who went to the holiday market this past weekend. It was a great turnout, and they raised a lot of money. It would be a really nice Christmas gift if you bought members in town, either in town, out of town, memberships to the Arts Center. If you're a member, you get classes discounted, and you can go to all their events. Tree lighting, holiday tree lighting is December 7th at 6 p.m. For Small Business Saturday is November 24th, so a lot of things to mark on your calendar. Belmar Youth Club is doing great. Proud to say that we had rolled that out a few years back. And it is Saturdays from 5 to 7 for the younger group, and then 7:30 to 9 for the older group. But if you have kids those ages that would like to be part of the youth club, Kendi does a tremendous job, and they're having a lot of fun with that. Other than that, I'd like that you had brought up Robin. I do want to congratulate her on really just doing a tremendous job as our CFO. She had previously been business administrator, doing both jobs, and then rolled into the CFO, and she is going to be missed tremendously. So I want to thank her for all of her hard work. And as always, please shop local, get Christmas and holiday shopping done early. I know we went out the other day, a family got some things, and we brought all of our bags with our turtles on it. Throw 3-4 bags into your car, and I guarantee you'll use them at Costco or whatever shopping you do. So please help our local businesses stay in business. So, thank you.
I'd just like to thank the Manasquan Belmar VFW for their Veterans Day ceremony last week at 12th Avenue Memorial Park. They did something new this year. They passed around the microphone and had the members in the audience tell us what branch of the service they are in and where they served. I thought that was very, very interesting to see who from Belmar served in what service and when and where they fought. So I really like that. I hope they continue that next year. Also, you really should become like the Facebook or the page of the Belmar Historical Society. Lately, they've been putting in some old photographs of Belmar, really great photos from back in the 20s and the 30s, and really you do yourself a favor and like the Belmar Facebook, Belmar Historical Society Facebook. Other than that, that's all I have. Oh, and Robin Kirk, congratulations, she did a great job. We have a person out here also, Mr. Ken Roberts. You helped us evaluate the position for the new CFO. You did a great job, very professional, very knowledgeable. I thank you for your help, and tonight we will go with your recommendation. Okay, thank you again, Ken. Okay, now we move to the public session on resolutions, only on the agenda. We will continue to have a public session at the end of the meeting. So if there's anybody out there that wants to come up and talk about anything, any of the resolutions, please step forward. If you do, just leave your name to April. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public session on resolutions. Do I have a second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, Ken, what we were just talking about, now we do the adjustment to the,
Correct, so the resolution advertised indicated the appointment of Christine Manolio as the Certified Municipal Finance Officer for Belmar. During Mr. Roberts' discussions with Ms. Manolio, she indicated she needs to get further approval because she's a retired employee in the pension system. So according to Ken's recommendation, and as we discussed in executive session, we need a motion to amend the resolution to indicate that she will be appointed as the acting CMFO for Belmar, and we will seek DCA approval, and then she will deal with her pension issues going forward into the new year.
okay, I'd like to make a motion adjusting that resolution to state that it's an acting position. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Osmer?
Yes.
Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
And Ken, when were we talking about the marina fees also?
Well, now we need a motion to adopt the resolution as amended.
Okay, I'm sorry. I now make a motion to adopt the resolution as amended. Do I have a second?
I'll second
Okay, Councilman Brennan?
it. Aye.
Councilman Nicolay?
This is without the jet skis and the kayaks.
No,
So
no,
this is on
We're
the
talking about
CFO.
CFO still. You have to actually, like, appoint someone.
Yes.
Mayor McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Osmer?
Yes.
Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
Now we do the marina.
Okay, now I'd like to make a motion separating the kayaks and the jet ski rentals from the resolution on the boat, on the marina fees. Have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Nicolay?
This is the CFO.
Mayor McGovern?
Just kidding, yes.
Yes.
Councilman Osmer?
Yes.
And Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
So then now I have to make a motion approving the change. So do I have a second approving the change that we just mentioned?
Second.
Okay,
Moving to ordinances, second reading and public hearing for ordinance 2018-15, an ordinance of the Borough of Belmar amending Chapter 15, Parks and Recreation Facilities to create a Parks Commission. Connections? Is that the right word, connections? Commission?
don't know what that's from.
I think it's just a hangover from the copy and paste.
Trying to trick me in
We
front
did
of all
the-
these people here. eh?
We did the sub hub connections last time in the second reading.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do I have a second?
And then there's a public hearing.
Oh, a public hearing on ordinance 2018-15. Anybody that would like to come forward and talk about the ordinance? Mark?
Mark Levis, 904 13th Ave. I just have a couple recommendations for this ordinance. The particular portion for 15.2.2C was amended to include the borough administrator. I think this is a risky move, having the Parks Commission report directly to the borough administrator. I think if we have a BA similar to our current BA, this commission won't get anything done. I don't think we need the BA as a gatekeeper. We don't have it as a gatekeeper for any of our other commissions, and I think we should allow this commission to report to the council directly with their recommendations. The other thing that I think should be added to the ordinance is the frequency when this commission should meet. There's no details in there, so if it's once a month, I think that would make sense. And then let them set by resolution when they're actually going to have the meeting dates. And then the only other recommendation I would have would be put something in here to allow them to liaise with the rec director. I know we don't have anything in here yet, but I think the rec director would be a really good addition to this, whether they're a member of this commission or whether they just are able to attend the meetings and give input. And Councilman Walsper, I would highly recommend appointing Teresa Pringle on this commission. She's smart, she's intelligent, and she has these parks, she knows them like the palm of her hand. And she'll let you hear about them. So she'd be a great addition to this commission.
I know she'll look at it.
So that's all I have. Those are my recommendations. I hope you consider it. You do? Thank you.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, do you have any comments on his first, about the not reporting to the administrator?
I mean, yeah, either coming to the administrator or to the council would be fine either way with me. I mean, you know, we could have a liaison from the council like we do with the other committees.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
And do it that way instead of having the administrator there. I mean, because, you know, the commission would, I'm sure, would rather talk freely without having the administrator there dictating the meeting. But, yeah, I mean, so I would actually have the same form as our other committees that we have.
I don't know, the borough administrator knows an awful lot of what's going around the town, knows the finances, and this new Parks and Recreation Commission, it's just an advisory group, you know? And what better advice to get than from someone that knows what's happening in the town, knows what the DPW can do, knows how much money is in their budget. I think it's important that the borough administrator be at these meetings or directly connected with them. I mean, I don't think you want to throw all administrators into the same box and say that they're all going to dominate it. I think you'd have to appreciate the advice coming from, and you're going to be choosing the administrator. So you know probably who you want and what type of individual that is, or, you know, so, I don't know, I think that this new group should have the borough administrator involved.
Like I said, I could go either way on it, you know, whether we keep it like the other committees or the way it's written now. You know, we would still get what we need to get out of it, and if the administrator's there. I mean, a lot of times the administrators are at all the other meetings we have. I mean, the administrator, Colleen, used to come to a lot of the Harbor Commission meetings and do a lot of explaining. So I think whether they're on there or not, they can still be involved, whether it's named in it or not. But it could go, you know, either way it works for me.
And if I could just comment, I don't think they should be part of it personally. I think that it is an advisory commission. I think they should be able to speak freely. But whatever minutes are taken, I'm sure that somebody will keep the minutes. You know, they'll get back to DPW and the borough administrator, and they could certainly weigh in on what was discussed. Really just like liaison, like the other committees. But I don't think that they should be part of a group of residents that are trying to put forth their opinions. So, just my thoughts.
I have a thought. I think we should definitely amend the ordinance to include a minimum number of meetings. I think that's something, I think it just makes sense to spell that out. It's the kind of thing where you don't cover it, it can come back to haunt you, because no one, you know, depends on what happens. Speaking as a former volunteer for things myself, I can tell you that people who volunteer start off with high energy, high hopes, and a lot of ambition. And the worst thing you could do is put some kind of bottleneck in front of them to make it harder for them to try to do what they're gonna do. I mean, there's always problems. You don't need to put a business administrator in the position of having to tamp down, for whatever reason, good or bad, tamp down the volunteers' ideas and their energy. I think the Environmental Commission and the Harbor Commission, they don't have to report directly to the business administrator, yet the business administrator knows everything they're doing. And if you need to ask a business administrator any question or get any input, it's easy to get. So I would definitely take that out. I would remove the business administrator and put the Parks Commission on an equal footing with those other commissions so that they can act in the same kind of advisory way. You know, there's no way the business administrator isn't involved. The other thing, the other recommendation about putting in something to liaise with the recreation director, I'm not sure we have to like codify that. I think that would be, the recreation director would be just like anybody else who works for the borough. If the commission wants to ask them a question, they just ask them a question. And if they want to attend a meeting, they just attend the meeting and they get to say what they want to say.
The only reason I don't disagree, but I do speak to our recreational director, Barry Trogo, often, and he's got some really great ideas for our different parks and playgrounds. And I think he would definitely take it upon himself to attend those meetings. So it's not a requirement, but I think he would have very good input in that.
So do we have to make a motion to make these amendments on the ordinance, or what do we do?
Yes. So what is the council's pleasure? So with respect to these amendments, obviously this is the second reading.
Right. We'll
So
start all over.
ordinance materially changes, we need to reintroduce it. I've been going through, while you guys have been discussing your positions, I don't believe that taking the borough administrator out is a material change. It's really not material to the import of the ordinance.
Okay.
I think that if you want to put in the liaison to the rec director, that's a material change. In addition, it's a material change to the terms and conditions of employment of someone that works for us.
Right.
So we cannot do that right now tonight. The frequency of the meetings, what is it, quarterly, every month? What are you guys looking for on that?
Well, I would they probably want to meet more often when the weather's nice, because that's when you can actually get stuff done. And I'd say once a month is fine.
At this point, the only requirement in the ordinance is 2.3G, which is that they have to at least meet once a year to present proposal recommendations for the capital project on or before December 1st.
Greg, would that be something that when the committee is together, they would decide themselves how the meetings would operate? Or do we need actually meet in the ordinance that it's mandatory for them to meet once monthly or quarterly? Or would it, when it's put together, would they decide that themselves?
Typically, in the first meeting, they're required to have at least the first meeting of the year, they're required to elect the chairperson, who shall be the liaison to the borough council, now that we're taking the administrator out. I mean, yeah, typically, your boards kind of set their own meetings.
Oh,
I
that
don't,
was my next question. They can do that, because that would be something they do themselves.
I believe they all do already, right? They
Yeah.
set it to planning board, everything from planning board to harbor commission, they set their own meeting dates. I mean, look, it's a practical matter. If you put in, you have to meet a certain period of time, certain days or anything, the more specific you get, the more difficult it makes it just to find a place to meet and be someplace, and then it's in your ordinance, and they have to do it, and then that becomes a technical issue later on, if people can't get along with the commission. You know, and it's up to you guys what you want to do. You can definitely take out that BA's position and pass it tonight. I think the frequency of the meetings, you're gonna put that in there, I think we have to reintroduce it, just to be safe.
And you don't
And the
want to
rec
make it
director, you
difficult.
definitely, I think you definitely have to reintroduce it in that
I don't want
instance.
to open it up.
Yeah.
And you don't want to make it difficult for those that would like to participate.
Right, we only have limited space here to meet in certain times at certain places for all your boards and stuff. I just wouldn't, you know, as a practical matter, it's difficult. But if you did do that, I think we'd have to reintroduce it. The VA, taking the VA line out, it's just a chain of who they talk to, and it has no import to the rest of the ordinance. I think we could make that amendment tonight and adopt it.
Okay.
The other two, I think, it's up to the council's pleasure. But I think if you make those other changes, we have to reintroduce it. Certainly the rec director liaison.
How strongly do you feel about the two amendments that you just made, Tom?
I think the only one you have to do is to do that. I don't wanna hold the ordinance up. Anything that's gonna hold it up, I don't wanna do.
Bill? Jim?
Yeah, I agree. I'm ambivalent about the borough administrator. I mean, the way I read this, the person's just a conduit, because if you go to the next paragraph, under purpose and duties, it says that the reports are given directly to the borough council. So when I first read this, I just reviewed that as a procedure of getting the information to where it needs to go. So but I'm fine with taking that out as well. Either way, I think is, the intent is the same.
Yeah, I mean, you can take that out and then leave it the way it is. This way we can move it right along. And they can set their own meeting dates and times and which day they want to be. I mean, they'd have to come to April to find out when the building was available anyway, so April would have to guide them.
But the other thing is I want to mention to you is if, let's say, I don't know, if you need to put that in there at some point, or there are other things, you've never done this before. So let's say the Parks Commission you find is extremely helpful in figuring out those jet skis or those kayaks or some other part, you could add that as H to their powers and duties later on in 2 meetings. If you found the necessity of adding to their duties or charging them with more stuff, or depending on how the group goes, really, I guess.
Jen?
No, I think it's fine, and I don't know if the addition of Barry as liaison, the rec director has to be added. I just would highly recommend him attending meetings when he can, because I think he's got great input, so.
Okay. So basically, we just have to vote on it the way it is, and you're just gonna take out.
We have to make a motion.
All right, so someone's got to move to amend the ordinance for the nominal change of eliminating the conduit of the BA.
I'll make that
Mr.
motion.
McCracken,
I'll make
put
that
it.
motion.
Okay.
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman November?
Yes.
Councilman Osmer?
Yes.
Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
Let's make sure we have no one else who wants to say anything about public hearing, because we don't think we.
Is there anybody out there that would want to speak on the ordinance? So I guess I have to make a motion to close the public portion. Okay, I make a motion to close the public portion on ordinance 2018-15. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We gotta make a motion to vote for it.
Okay, I make a motion to vote for ordinance 2018-15, an ordinance of the Borough of Belmar amending Chapter 15, Parks and Recreation Facilities to create a Parks Commission. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Councilman Brennan?
Before I vote, I just wanted to thank Councilman Levis for all his service. This Parks Commission was his baby. Thank you for all your service. It's been a pleasure working with you. I also want to welcome Councilman McCracken. Looking forward to working with you, and I vote yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman November?
Yes.
Councilman Osmer?
Yes.
Councilman McCracken?
Yes.
Okay, now we go to the public session. Just raise your hand, I'll try and call on you if I see your hand up, and come up to the microphone, give your name, your address, and say what you need to say. Is there anybody out there who wants to come forward? Sir?
Hello, everybody. I just want to say I'm happy for being here. My name is Dave LaTempa. I just opened up a business in Belmar, originally from Jersey City. I opened up in Belmar Mall. I'm next door to 10th Ave Burrito and Jersey Shore Barbecue. The name of the business is Sonny's Grill. I am the owner along with my wife and my 3 children. And I just want to say thank you for having me here. Hopefully everybody can come by one day for a meal. Built the place myself, did everything myself, and I just want to say thank you for the mayor and the new council for being here. And I'm just happy to be here today, and I enjoyed the township of Belmar. I've been coming down here since I've been a little kid. My wife used to stay at the, I believe it's the White House, that she's all upset that they're supposedly taking it down or something like that. She was telling me about that. My kids have been coming here quite a while. My son comes down here every summer with all his friends. and he's been telling me for the longest time that, Dad, we gotta open up a business in Belmar. I was recently in Neptune. I stood there for approximately 2 years and decided to close the business down and come to Belmar, where all the excitement is. And believe me, I've been here all summer working on the place, and I've seen what it was like down here. I came here a few times when my kids were young. I never knew how many people come to this town. It is great to be here, and everything about it I love. The concerts every Friday night, right outside my store. I thought I was seeing things when I came here. I'm from Jersey City, by the way. I'm not from down here, and when I seen what I seen, I thought Jersey City was the highlight, but nah. Belmar's the place to be, and I just want to say thank you for everybody for giving me the opportunity to be here. And I hope to see all you people in my business eating at Sonny's Grill.
2 questions.
Yes,
What are your days and hours?
I'm open 7 days a week, from 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. during the summer,
So
possibly till 2 in the morning.
Lunch
the way
and
it
dinner.
goes around here.
Right, lunch and dinner?
Lunch and dinner, I do breakfast sandwiches. In the wintertime, from November to April, I'll be closing at 8 p.m. at night. The business is ran by my entire family, me, my wife, my 3 children, 2 brother-in-laws, sisters, my mom comes down.
And what's your specialty? I have to
An
ask.
Italian hot dog, Jimmy Buffs. If anybody's from Newark, Jersey City area, Jimmy Buffs. Jimmy Buffs, Mickey D's, Rudd's Hut, Callahan's. If you want a hot dog and you want the best, you gotta come to my place, you're gonna love it. Wear tight socks, because it'll knock your socks right off. Just letting you know, it's the best place to be. The new mayor was there on Saturday, did my ribbon cutting. Everything, I just love everything about it, and I want to say thank you for everybody for having me here, and I hope to open up a few more businesses, as soon as possible. My son loves it, he wants to sleep at the place, he don't even want to go home. If I had a bed and a shower, he'd stay, I'd try to get him out, he's 24. He's rearranging my basement, he don't want to leave. But anyway, I can go on and on. But I just want to say thank you for everybody for having me here, and I'll be coming to many more council meetings, and hopefully one day I can move here, and maybe one day I'll be sitting up there. That's my goal, but thank you, everybody, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, new Mayor.
Good luck.
Thank you very much for everything. All right. Yeah, awesome milkshakes. But if you gotta get a milkshake, you gotta get it from my daughter. She's the one to make it. She does a good job. Thank you, everybody. All right.
Does anybody dare follow that? Seeing no one, I make a motion to close? Oh, we do?
Yep, just like us, this thing is not. Sharon Mahoney, 800 Main Street. First of all, it was very hard to hear you in the back.
Yes.
Your microphones aren't on, this isn't on tonight, usually you have this on, so with a room like this, everybody had, I know you want them to be really quiet. We can't hear you. So I should stand this way, right? I'll try to speak loudly, I'm not like that, but 2 things I want to ask, and there are follow-ons to things I've brought up before. One is the intersection of 8th Avenue and Main Street. Has any movement been made on getting a DOT study, traffic study on that intersection? Because I brought up the issue before with the traffic coming from 35, being so congested, nobody knows, there's no lanes there. Now, if you go to 10th Avenue, there's a dead lane divider. At least you know where to go straight and go left or go right. 8th Avenue needs to have something like that.
The chief is not here any longer, maybe he got called out, but the problem there is that State Highway 71, that's the state, Belmar just can't go out. Our DPW could go draw some lines, but I think someone would get in trouble. So it would have to be approved. How far that's gotten along with them, I don't know the answer.
Yeah, so the town would have to request and go to the county and state to request a study.
I think
I'm working on
yeah.
with Wall Township on a similar thing in Wall Township request over there, so I know it has to come from the town. So can someone just put that forth and say, if we can just get a traffic study done, because you'll find that something needs to change at that intersection.
It's a very difficult intersection. I agree with you 100%. Something has to be done, especially When the sun's going down, it's very difficult to cross. I agree. Yeah,
The second is the sharrows. The sharrows for bikes.
right.
A lot of towns around here have them. There's talk, a couple years ago, I brought it up about, putting them on Ocean Avenue, even on Main Street. I know, we're not talking about a dedicated bike lane, just a shower in the lane to show that, hey, watch out for bicycles. It's basically an awareness thing for drivers. And I've just seen too many cars, even though there's a law in New Jersey, in case you don't know, stay 4 feet to the left of any bicyclist. That is a state law. It's still hard in the summertime. I know there are some kids who don't pay attention to right and left side of the road, and they're all over the place. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that do obey the laws. You're riding with the traffic, but you got cars that just don't pay attention, don't care.
And the
So
problem is, the problem is with that is the busy roads are, again, county or state.
I understand, but I talked to the county and the state. You just have to request it from them, and they'll come out and paint it.
Have we
It's
ever done
gotta
that?
come
Well,
from the
yes,
town.
yes, we have. Many years ago, probably back in the 80s or 90s, the county, there was an idea to put in a bike lane from like Bradley Beach all the way down to Seagirt on Ocean Avenue. But, they ran into problems. So
I'm not talking about a bike lane, just the
Yeah.
sharrows. That's more of an awareness thing. Again, I brought this up twice, the email, there's an email to you, to the whole council, asking what's going on with it, and I still haven't gotten any replies to any movement. Have they reached out to the county, because look at, Avon has it, Bradley has it. So, and they're smaller towns than we are. And I think there are more bicycles in this town in the summertime, with a lot of people who don't want to drive, because if they move their car, they lose their spot. And there's a lot, with all the bars and everything, you have much more people, or many more people on bicycles than you do in cars in the summertime.
Good point. Thank you. We'll look into it, sure. If it hasn't been requested, I believe it has. We will look into see what the status is.
Okay.
And if they don't have it, then we'll.
Because now's the time to do it, when it's not that busy, you can get the painters out there. I'll paint one.
Kramer.
All right, thank you.
I won't jump the gun. Anybody? Going once? Twice? I make a motion to close the public portion of the meeting and adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.